Donnie and input cruising through the airwaves. Transformers knowledge blast that never caves. Reviews so sharp they'll cut through steel. In the podcast world, they're the real deal. Jumping in the deep end, swimming with the best. Danny's got the info and she never needs to rest. Input's got the passion like a roaring jet. Together they make a mark you won't forget. Dynamic duo, never gonna quit. Taking over airwaves, super lit. Transformers podcast bringing the heat. Every single episode can't be beat.
No, it can't. And this is the first episode you won't be seeing me because I'm sick. But welcome to the state of the Transformers fandom, letting go the past and much more. How are you doing, Input?
I'm doing great. I would ask you how you're doing, but we already know how that's.
I'm so sick. I'm dope. I might be dope sick.
Oh man. Well, I guess it's me. It's the N-Dash PUT.
The guy everyone wants to be around.
And yeah, no one wants to be around me except for Danny Double D. Who is sick? Oh golly gee.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, tonight's episode is we're going to be talking about letting go slash I guess the past, not necessarily letting go of the past, but just letting go and I guess the past. Yeah, I don't that's a terrible segue into all that, but yeah, I'm really trying to think of how to start it, like my all the thoughts running through my head right now, just like where to begin. And I got to kind of file them, but
yeah, I just feel for me like letting go, like in which way, like letting go, like the past of the communities of the Transformer stuff we've been in, letting go of like letting go of just collecting in general, I guess, and just just from there, the past in general as well,
Yeah, I think like as far as like letting go of like collections and everything else, that's I think we all kind of at one point we all kind of whether we wake up and we either think to ourselves, man, I don't want any of this stuff, or you're starting to feel like burnout and you just kind of like try to force yourself through it, and in doing that you kind of cause even more burnout with collecting and everything else. It's honestly really good to kind of look at other things in other avenues, right?
Totally.
And in that regard, kind of letting go.
Jimmy G's in the house. Let it go. Jimmy G always lets it go, baby.
Oh, but I think like letting go, like say letting go of a collection when you're tired of it, right? And moving on from it, that can be very I guess like stress relieving, right? Like if you're feeling like really bogged down or from collecting, or overwhelmed. There you go. Overwhelmed. And all you got to do is just take a step back initially and just kind of see where you want to be, and then kind of go from there, right?
Yes, it is. You can buy whatever you want. We're for sale. Me and Nick are for sale.
But honestly, too, there's also been a couple like. I find that people let things affect their collection, like external things affect their collection too.
Yeah.
And trying to kind of sift through all of that in order to find where where it all's supposed to land at. Like,
Totally.
you know,
I think Jimmy G has to say to here. I think it's an evolution in your collecting taste, seasons of collecting, so to speak, right? To cycle through, maybe change over time.
yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too,
And,
is like that's kind of what I'm getting at, is like, you know, your tastes change over time, and holding on to, you know, what you may have been interested in the past and not interested in now. You know, like it's okay to, you know,
thanks, Martin.
just
Yeah,
to let it go, right? It's okay to sell all your Armada stuff.
no,
Um,
it's
because
not. But no, I get it.
hey Tracy. Um
No, he doesn't want to sit on your face tonight.
what? Oh, I don't even know. You made me lose my track of my train of
Sorry.
thought.
No, like you said, just to sell your Armada stuff.
No, just like moving on in general, and just kind of, you know, like, I don't know, like downside. Basically, what I'm trying to say, you know, rambling here for like, you know, last 6 minutes of whatever. You know, it's okay to move on. You don't have to. Just because, I guess, like, somebody tells you, or the internet or whatever, right, tells you that this is awesome, or this is great, or this is that, or this is this, doesn't necessarily mean you have to get it, right?
No, and you can move on. You can empty out that collection and get into something else. You know.
Yeah, and that's just that, you don't have to get into anything else. Like, I do think there's a fear of, you know, people might have a fear of not having something, right? But it's okay not to have, you know, not to collect something, or not, you know, or not to have that, not to have something. It's okay, you know, like, if, you know, if you're collecting money, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah.
okay too,
Let that
right?
stop Trump go. But yeah, I know, and for sure. And for me, like the letting go is a lot to do with, like I said earlier, like some of the letting go of like being part of other Transformers communities and this and that. You know, like I was in a really bad rut, and I basically let go of everything. I didn't want to be on YouTube anymore. I basically thought I might be done completely. I only put out 2 videos last year. And then, you know, Martin got me on his live stream, rejuvenated my, like, you know, thought of trusting people, getting back into communities a bit, and, you know, keeping it smaller. And then, you know, having an idea to do something with you. We've talked about this on the phone before for like a year, like we got to do something. And for me, that was letting go of, like, you know, some of the people we used to mix with. Nothing against them. I want to bring people all together, but you can't always do that. And I had to learn that the hard way. You know, I had to let go of some people, and maybe I didn't say the right things. Maybe, I don't know if I didn't intentionally try to do anything bad, but, you know, I just kind of let go and let the chips fall where they may. And yeah, Martin got me off my ass, and I'm still talking to you. So it's like, we got to start something and move on and have some fun again in this community. It doesn't have to be about what you have, chasing every new toy, but we just wanted to, you know, kind of get here and, you know, put the past behind us, so to speak, and just have fun again, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, you know, a lot of that, a lot of stuff like that can really start to affect you mentally,
It did, yeah.
and that becomes extremely, extremely toxic, right? And in, like the title of the episode says, it's okay to let it all go. You don't have to be part of that community. You don't have to be part of that forum. You don't have to be part of that website. You don't have to be part of any of that stuff, right? Like, if you find that in yourself that you just want to do whatever it is you want to do, just you want to collect in your own little corner, or you just want to be you in your own little corner, you know, like of the world, so to speak, then you can do that. You can 100% do that. You don't, just because you are a Transformer fan doesn't necessarily make you part of the quote unquote community, or the larger community, or whatever, right? That's why I hate that word community, right? I hate how freely it gets thrown around and stuff. You're not a part of a community. You're part of a fandom or a fan base of something. And I think that's a healthier
Yeah.
word, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
fandom I like. That's why this is the Transformers fandom player.
yeah, like that's like I said. So I think fandom is a healthier word, because a fan can be singular, right? And then you can also, I feel like the word community starts to lends itself really easy to kind of go down the road of abuse almost, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's just overdone because communities, more people bring it all together. There's a lot of people that fake the community and they're just out there to look out for themselves. And once they get bigger, they'll never bring you up. And, I've only had a handful of bigger channels ever shed some light on me and tip their hat saying I'm cool. I'm not going to say their names to drop names like the game or anything, but it's just there's a small amount of people that have ever been bigger than me that have tipped their hat and said good things and opened any doors. I'm not asking people to do it, but it's just when you're a community, a group, and you're saying we're all for each other, and then as soon as people blow up, they leave you behind. So
Yeah, and
tough.
you kind of touched on like the community aspect, right? Like the idea of a community is everybody is kind of there for each other. Everyone kind of builds each other up. It's a bunch of people working in unison. And then when one person or one machine or whatever falters or breaks or whatever the case may be, right? Then
Hmm.
then it's just kind of left like, oh, well, what do we do or whatever, right?
Totally. TFM page 101 in the chat says this community can be stinky. It's always about the popular thing or what to go after. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like as a quote unquote community, a community
Favorite.
will have a hive mind. A community will have a community will attack as a community,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? Um, and that that's that's pretty much it, man. That's why I say that the word community can be toxic and lend itself to uh like attacks or whatever the case may, like however you want to phrase that,
Totally.
right? um and that's why I say fandom is just an overall better thing, because the word or the word fandom is because it lends itself to you being by yourself. You don't have to wear your community badging, and you don't have to wear like all these stickers or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, wear our sticker, please, though, when it's up for sale next week. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, I need yeah, I agree. Yeah, you don't have to, yeah, co-hope like a certain thing, an agenda, I guess,
Yeah, you don't have to be part of that mind hive, right? Like there are things that I don't like, figures that I don't like, and the overall fandom, whatever, says that they're a good figure, and I will argue till I'm 6 feet in the ground about if they're good or bad or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know,
But that's why kind of I had to let go of that too. Like I said, like Martin got me off my ass. It's nice to be in his little group, his little thing, crew. That's nice because it's small. I got to know everyone pretty well. Everyone's laid back, chill that I've met so far and rubbed elbows with. I got you. I'm not trying to be part of a bigger community as much. People can come watch my stuff. I'm not there to hate, but I just, I've separated myself. I let stuff go. Like people we had to let go. Our old crew we used to roll with. Not that I have anything against these people, but like I had to let go, like to have a fresh start. I was letting the real stuff. I'm not going to say it here, but I was holding back. I've told you stuff. I didn't want to do stuff because this and that, and I had to let go of that to get to this point we're at now.
Yeah, and that's part of that mental the mental health thing, right? Like you end up kind of like deconstructing the entire thing, and you kind of certain things end up like in your mind, you place them on your shoulders, right? And then at some point you're just like, yeah, man, fuck this, like I'm done. Like I'm not gonna worry about. I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna go outside and touch grass and live my life.
Yeah, I'm
like
not gonna worry about the he said, she said.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's at the end of the day, it boils down to toys, right?
Mhm.
Like that's all it boils down to. When it comes to nut cutting time, it's toys, right?
Mhm.
Like that's it. That's what any quote unquote community, right? Like
Mhm.
it's always it's over toys. Like, are you serious right now? Like
Totally. I just want to
it's
read about Ultra Magnus from the chat said, "Hey, Ultra Megatronus, Danny, you got your ass up and motivated. I just invited you to hang out with us. In the end, the person has to motivate themselves to continue doing what they love to do. True, but you gave me that spark. I know I got to provide the fuel, but it was just enough to get me going, and I appreciate it. I refuse to behave. Of course you do. You're an asshole. No,
well, T Page says, I'm glad I'm not T Community Page 101.
yeah,
And I'm
Oracle.
glad you are not too.
Yeah, you were in Oracle. She had a good point. I just can't. I can't read the last word.
Oh, inequalities from a historical standpoint, community as an entirety in a source of exclusion and ordering that causes inequalities, or othering that causes inequalities. Yeah, I can't read either, so
I
there's
know.
that.
I know. Like, which one of us can read that? I'm sorry. Thank you. But it's great. I knew what she meant. I just couldn't pronunciate
Right,
it.
enunciated. Yeah, dude. What's up, Ninja Bill? But yeah, dude. At the end of the day, just man, if any of this stuff is bothering you or getting to you or whatever, it's not worth it. At the end of the day, they're just toys. And I know that, like, you know friendships are made and
That's funny.
that
Yeah.
kind of situation, that all that stuff or whatnot, right? um but at the end of the day, man, it's all over toys. And I think once anybody has a firm understanding of that, and just really how meaningless all of this stuff is, right?
Mhm.
To like a bigger stage, I guess you could say, right?
Mhm.
Look, man, when we die, we ain't taking none of this stuff with us. Like, it's just gonna end up in a toy store or in a landfill or whatever, right? Like,
Mhm.
um, like none of this stuff, the toys, all that stuff, none of it matters. And I think there's once everybody wakes up that morning and just kind of has that realization, um, it's the start of everyone letting go and letting stuff go and letting it just be what it is, and stop trying to uh you know be in like a toxic relationship, I guess, for lack of a better term with that, right? So um that's
Totally, I agree. This is a quote I'm going to put in the chat from Fight Club that I like. I can't read it right now because I can't say the last word again. But, just embracing the chaos and what
relinquishing control to find freedom and authenticity.
right.
Yeah.
That's about letting go. Like, talk about that. Like, how are you going to let go, right? In that movie, I know that movie has so many levels to it, but it's just like the part in there. He's like, you have to let go of this job, let go of everything to find like pure creativity in the sense, and it's interesting.
Oh, I missed that one. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. No, it's
Okay.
just interesting. Yeah, it's just cool concept, like you have to embrace so much to kind of let go, right? And that's what I hit that point too. I was saying, like, letting go. I'm in the, like we talked about before, probably going to move here in a bit too. And I can't, there's some space there. I want more stuff when I get there. So I'm going to have to let go of certain points in my collection, really nail it down to what I want to keep. And a lot of big choices ahead, right?
Yeah, and I think it's a very adult thing to do. I think a lot of communities um kind of pigeonhole themselves into like this ever permanent state of childhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um because I hear so often, like, oh, I have to have this new Bumblebee because I had Bumblebee when I was a kid, or I had whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's like, okay, but do you really need a 97th Bumblebee? You know, um, that's kind of like, you know, letting that aspect go. You can still enjoy it because it was an aspect of your childhood, but I think so much of this is like I said, just put so many people into like a permanent state of like a weird, not like a permanent state of like weird in between like being a kid and being an adult, right? Um, like you don't have, you know, that's, you don't have to have all those bumblebees or whatever. Just like enjoy your childhood and what you had of it and what you came from it and everything else, and then, you know, and hold on to the memories and stuff. But everything else, you can let everything else go. You don't need to have all of it or whatever, right? Like,
And the past isn't always bad either. You know, you got to reflect on it. I mean, you know, I have crazy different pasts at times, but it's good to reflect on it, and it helps build a better future, you know.
And Ultra Megatronus in chat said, you can let go as many times as you want, but in the end, it'll still be part of you, and that you can never that you can never let go. It's just about moving forward and making decisions you're happy with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a bus driver would say.
That's what a bus driver would say.
Just kidding. I love you, Martin. No, I like it. I like it. Great point. Great point. Right? You can't really let go, but you have to. You know. But
yeah, it's
still be a part of you.
Well, it's a very valid point, but I feel like, you know, you have to let go in order to kind of help protect yourself, right? You know, you know, like, 'cause if you, when I say that, you know, in some things you have to like, you know, you can hold on to memories and certain things and stuff, but the things of whatever it is that you're holding on to, like the negative aspects of it all, is what you let go of, and you keep the positive of it, you know.
Yeah, this part too, like the worst part about being a YouTube collector is, in fact, you need to new material to continue on, or else it's basically over. Always wondered what would happen when a person was done collecting. Yeah, I'd agree and disagree to the point that, like, you know, like it just sucks that people get stuck in that trap of buying all these new figures and then they never even do anything like on the channel anyways, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but like, you know, you don't have, but that's the thing, is like, just, do you have to be a YouTuber, right? If you're not making you know, a substantial amount of money to live, if YouTube is not what pays your bills, do you have to be one? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
like,
for sure.
You know, you don't have to be on social media, and that's what YouTube is social media, right? Like, you don't have to be on that. So in that regard, you know, like, hey, you're not forced to buy that figure, or to continually forced to buy it just to review it. If you like it and you get it because you like it and you want to do a review of it, you know, it doesn't matter if you are, you know, like a year late to reviewing it over everybody else. Because truthfully, if you have an audience, it doesn't matter whether it's like 50 people or 100,000 people, they're going to essentially watch what you say about it, right?
And yeah, like, it's just, I understand too what he means, like with the pressure from some people too. Like, it sucks to get caught up in that pressure, you know, of buying.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, hey, let go of the pressure. I know it sounds corny, right? But a lot of these people, like a lot of the bigger, you know, higher up, whatever, influencers, God, dude, gag me with a spoon because of that word. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Marcus is right here. Like, I know it's like people feel more comfortable being on YouTube doing it because, like, you know, it's more of a social acceptance, right?
Yeah. I said, I wonder though. Said, you're right. I don't have to be on YouTube. Sometimes I wonder though if this is a person's way for social acceptance, toy collecting. Yeah.
I would agree it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and that goes back to, you know, that whole idea of finding a quote unquote community and trying to be a part of it. Like I said at the beginning of it, you don't have to just be part of the fandom And if you want to keep your fandom to yourself, closeted away from the world, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to you don't have to share it out, because there's a lot of people in the community that will get into it, you know, and just be out, like Danny was saying earlier, just be out for themselves.
Yeah.
And just, they'll try to befriend as many people as they can, just to, just for free toys or whatever, so they could have the biggest collection, just so they can be like every video game YouTuber on YouTube and stand in front of a wall of video games to talk about how much knowledge they have.
Yeah.
Right. That's like, so at the end of the day, just be part of the fandom. And if you like it, awesome.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, but yeah, it's nice. I do find the approach of being on YouTube is fun. Like sometimes people don't care if they don't go anywhere. They come with the best interests, and they're in their later 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. And they find this group and they actually have fun and they actually connect with people and don't feel so alienated about it. I know geek and nerd culture is more popular than ever, but still, like sometimes people don't have people around to talk to. I didn't really have very many people until recently in real life to talk about, and I've been on YouTube for years talking about like geek fandoms and toys, video games, right?
Yeah.
There's a good thing. It's just some people weaponize it, so they go nuclear.
Oracle in the live chat said there's nothing wrong with finding quote unquote like minds. What is wrong is when it becomes an echo chamber and new ideas or different opinions aren't welcome. Then it's a cult. Yeah. It's the cult of personality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's like, what's his name?
Everyone is. Oracle also goes on to say in the live chat, everyone is fighting to be King Dork. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I had a friend once. To that point, little personal story, I guess, right? But like I had a friend at one point that, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge comic book. I don't even know what the hell that is. Comic book dork, in the words of Oracle. And I've read them for ages now. Every single time a Marvel movie or a DC movie or anything like that came out, he would always call me to see what I thought about it. Just to, I guess, regurgitate what I said to his friends that weren't into comic books going to go see these movies, right?
Yeah.
So that when I found that out, it was kind of like, oh, that it hurt, because I was like, well, okay, I thought we were friends, but okay, you're just kind of using me because like I know comics and whatever, right? So, very, very, very true statement there from Oracle.
I like what Ultramark said too. No need to be sorry, but also share a common thing with others out there that felt embarrassed of having these items in hand. Yeah, that's what I kind of just touched on. Like if you use it right, you can bring people together, right?
Yeah.
And it does relieve stress. It is fun. It is fun to be on there and show your stuff. I get it. We've done it. We used to live it all the time. So there's a good part to it, so.
Yeah, and Ultra Megatronus says basically a release. Ultra Megatronus in the live chat. I got to get better about saying that for people who don't watch it. Like they just listen to it. Ultra Megatronus in the live chat says basically a release from the real world issues that stress people out. People have been collecting forever. This is just another way of doing it. Yeah, but the problem that I feel with it is like it's so connected now. You're not going out to a flea market by yourself just to put your headphones in, jamming some Megadeth or whatever it is, looking for old band T-shirts and whatever. Now there's so many people doing it just to put it on their Instagram, just to get a click, just to get a like, just to get whatever kind of interacting or an engagement or whatever the case may be with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just because now they find like an Optimus Prime, it's like, are you doing it for your dopamine hit on Instagram, or are you doing it because you're genuinely doing it to because you're excited to do it, right? Ninja Bill in the live chat says, I can't go into theaters and watch period-based films because I am a historian or a history enthusiast and like to pick them apart. Yeah. I do that with car movies. Not necessarily Fast and the Furious, but I do that with them as well. Uh, I do pick them apart. There's one called Born to Race. It's a pretty interesting show, or a pretty interesting movie. I love it. The kid has a Subaru STI. I think it's like a '08, and his dad's like a mechanic, and he's trying to be one, and all this other stuff. And it's definitely one of those things where the scripts are written by non-car people,
Yeah. Sure.
But
yeah, it's tough, man, because like you said, like people just go out there too with the shit at, like you said, flea markets. They're just out there, like everything's just for content. When there used to be just people doing it for the passion. Like Bart's like 50 something years old, so he's seen that uptick. Like he's still not on social media. He hates even when I film him on YouTube and shit, but it's just like he doesn't like, he hates seeing these people like pulling out like eBay app trying to find out a price and just making shit for it, like just making so much. It's not about like living it anymore, right?
yeah, there have been, dude, I can't tell you how many toy shows I've been to, especially in the last like year, 2 years now, where somebody sees something that they want, and then they here comes on eBay. They're checking prices on eBay and stuff, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like you're at a show. If you wanted that Freddy Krueger figure, why didn't you just buy the Freddy Krueger figure from the show? You know what I'm saying? Just do it to enjoy it, right? Oracle in the live chat says, not to mention my therapist said a long time ago that finding something that you enjoy and want to do and doing it for the dopamine hit is very hard to tell the difference from in this social media day and age. It's up to us to determine how toxic it is, and many of us prefer the immediate dopamine hit rather than doing the inner work. Timmy's asking, is this live? Yeah, Timmy. What's up, Timmy? We are live, baby.
Do you know the band Disturbed? Do you listen to them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have that song where it's like, what is it? I have to see it. But in another time when we weren't so blind, when the world was more than what you see online, when we actually lived instead of watching life in another time, I recently just listened to that song, and it really just hit me really hard, because it was another world. Will we ever get back there? Probably not. But it was just we used to live. I miss living sometimes.
Yeah, dude, I do too. Just like you could just wake up and then see, that's why I've let like so much of all this go, right? There's a lot of figures that I want, whether it's like old Toy Biz stuff or Mayfex stuff or whatever the case may be. But if I get it, I get it. Great. If I don't, great. That's what it is. And that's where I'm at with so much of it, is that if I get it, I enjoy it. I will enjoy it. Like I got the Mayfex Daredevil, and I wanted that figure on the first release. BBTS, their pre-order sold out, and everybody knew that I wanted it. And I had there's a guy here who sells a bunch of that like import figures and stuff at a flea market. And I texted him and I said, hey, if you get one, hold it for me. And I went up there Saturday and he had an extra one and he held it for me. So, but I wasn't like, I was excited to get the figure if I got the figure, but I wasn't holding my breath to get the figure. Right. I wasn't trying to jump through hoops, and it wasn't stressing me out and all this stuff, to have it, to get it or anything, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, just if it becomes a stressor for you, then it's not a stress relief for you. It's not. It kind of becomes something that you don't that you stop enjoying. Because like Oracle said, you're chasing that dopamine hit.
Mhm.
And I do, and man, I do hope that things get back. I do. Every part of my core, my being wishes that we could, and hopes that we can one day. But
Hmm.
Blue Raccoon in the live chat says, Danny, I respectfully say I am not a Disturbed fan, but only heard I'm alive once.
Yeah, I love Disturbed, actually. I never thought, yeah, for newer metal type band, that's great. But yeah, I know it's just a point of like, yeah, doing it for the dopamine, yeah, and chasing this like like catchable thing, and it's just about, yeah, letting go and like really finding what you want to collect, what you want to be known for, and just enjoy it for what it really is. Don't just follow the hype.
Yeah, and you'll end up in a trap if you do that. Just like if you want to do YouTube, do it.
Yeah,
Don't
and
do
I've
it
been
because everybody else is doing it, or and that goes with
yeah.
buying a figure or buying whatever it is.
And
You
I've
know?
been on here long enough to see so many bandwagon people, man. Like some people, like, yeah, they came on quick and they blew up way bigger than us and more success in some ways for doing certain things. But I've seen so many people get into this hobby, buy like 500 Transformers in a year or two, and then totally drop out. So it's like, that's not really what you're here for. That wasn't really your passion, was it? And I can agree to say I've been part of that because I got onto YouTube for the hype, so the retro gaming time, but it wasn't really my passion. But I always was collecting. I did collect that stuff before, but it was just like But then I found what I really want to do, and yeah, it's more. I've always loved toys more because they're more like there's way more imagination with them. It's just fun to display them. They actually do what they do when they're on a shelf, and yeah, I'm still here kicking it. So it's just, yeah, trying to just, downsize a bit here and figure shit out. But yeah, let go of some past. Like I said, the community stuff too really bothers me. Like, that's why I said I stepped away. I'll rub elbows with a small amount of people now. I'll only get on live with people I kind of know more and trust and, want to continue to deal with. So, here I am.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Totally get that. There was back in the day, I heard MGO doesn't do anything with anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, that's the wildest thing, dude. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, and I just thought that was like a crazy idea, but it's like, yeah, now it's like, damn, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I totally get it.
Totally.
But what are we talking about next week, Danny? What are we talking about? What are we going to go on and entertain these people with, or not entertain them and they just facepalm for 30 minutes to an hour while they listen to us?
I don't know. What are you thinking?
I was thinking, this week we're talking about letting go, and I thought, next week we could talk about moving forward. If you decide to let go, if you are at a place to let go, what do you do next? You have to move forward. How do you move forward? Well, you move forward by tuning in next week.
Yeah, and for sure, I just want to add to without that moving forward. Yeah, and then we'll do one more after that for this month, and then we'll have the poll up for April's. So everyone can vote on one episode for each. Yeah, we'll switch it out, but one episode will be votable for April. So
yeah, so we'll do the last episode in April will be the voted on by the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna put a poll up on my Instagram.
April, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we'll do it at the beginning of April, the polls. Yeah, and then we'll do it for,
Yeah, we'll put it up at the beginning of April. We'll put it up on Danny's Instagram, my Instagram, my community page on YouTube, and Danny's community page on YouTube. On YouTube, not YouTube. That's a band. And Timmy says, when's Tales from Teletran coming back? This is it, man. This is the new one.
Baby. Yeah,
this is it, baby.
Yeah.
Right?
God, that's hilarious. This is what you asked for.
But yeah, and whatever wins the vote will be the last episode of April. So that gives you guys time to vote, possibly change your minds, possibly get some fake accounts and vote 4, 5, 6, 12 times, whatever it is.
Yeah. And then we'll just keep swapping out the ones. So look forward to that. But yeah.
So next week's episode is moving forward because this week's episode was letting go. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week, man. And Danny, tell something to these people.
Yeah, just let it go. Just like Martin said too, you can't always let everything go. You're gonna hold on to some stuff from the past. I battle with it every day, but stay in the fight. Let as much of it can go as possible that you want to. Move forward and stay in the game, player. And we'll catch you next week.
Thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure. However, we must now conclude the program. We appreciate your viewership and apologize should we have inadvertently disrupted your evening. Please do not take any offense. We look forward to presenting another engaging topic next week, and we extend our gratitude for your continued support.
You can't stop it, no, the bass gonna break. Tidal waves crashing till the whole ground shakes. Danny, dolphins swimming through electric seas. In the dark we thrive, no time to freeze.